must say, Para is very real. Their claims are true. If you want to see full pay on your orders, it's possible through this third-party app. I'm not going to dive in on how to get yourself set up. I want to touch more on the opportunities and threats of using Para, and then there's some insights to how DoorDash works. There are other videos on YouTube that you can find if you wanted to learn how to use Para. If you want to go out and check Mr. Flex on YouTube, you can go ahead and check him out. Please note, Para is 100% free, so if someone is trying to hit you in the head, just know that it shouldn't cost you anything to use it. Now, you may ask, how is this possible? Well, without knowing for sure, here's my theory. Para is using your DoorDash account to fetch information from the DoorDash systems. Think about all the information that DoorDash has. There's no way that DoorDash would allow this information to be publicly accessible based on a sensitivity. If another company wanted to access, let's say, DoorDash's data, DoorDash would have to basically establish a relationship with that company before they could then go ahead and interact or interface with that information. If Para established a relationship with DoorDash, then that means one of two things. DoorDash is completely in the dark, or DoorDash is on board with Para. Both of these cases are null and void for me, and I'm pretty much sold on Para is using Dash's account to access all the information. Now, if I'm right about this, that means DoorDash is pushing all of the order information at one time. When you are alerted for a new delivery opportunity, all of the details are sent, including the full pay. Using the current DoorDash app, you wouldn't be able to see their full pay. However, Para is able to fetch this information by using your account on their systems to then present you with the tip transparency. Now, you may ask, is this what DoorDash wants? The truth of the matter is, well, this can't be what DoorDash wants. Based on how their order processing is designed, DoorDash is invested in the psychology of Dashers. There's also a possibility that people who may not leave a tip or at the bare minimum will be underserved. Can you be deactivated for using Para? Yes. You can be deactivated for just about anything that doesn't coincide with DoorDash. As I was revisiting the deactivation policy, it mentioned something called scaping. DoorDash defines scaping as a robot, or using a robot spider, web crawler, all web-based stuff, extraction software, automated processes, or a device to scrape, copy, index, frame, monitor, conduct any systematic retrieval of data and other content from any portion of DoorDash's platform or its content. This reminded me of a tool called or you may know it as the driver utility helper. It uses a lot of automation to filter through orders. As far as Para, does this tie in? It sort of coincides with the terms that are being used for deactivation, so yes. However, here's my theory. Can DoorDash afford to lose 5 to 10% of their active Dashers right now? Based on what I'm seeing as far as numbers, I'm looking at 5, probably at 6% at this point. And it's definitely going to be moving to 10% at some point soon. And from 10%, it could jump to 15 to 20% of the amount of Dashers who actually are using Para. So that is the future. Obviously, it's only going to increase. But can they afford right now to just go ahead and say, all right, if you're using Para, everyone's deactivated? They cannot do that. They cannot afford to lose all their, basically call them, I'm not going to say top Dashers, but like full-time, part-time, people who are spending a lot of time on the platform. Can they afford to lose 5 to 10 or 15, 20% of those Dashers who are using Para? And they can't, because they need to have a supplemental strategy. They have to bring people on in order to continue to work with the order flow. So if you don't have Dashers and you're getting rid of Dashers, you're now creating a bottleneck for the existing Dashers. So that would, let's call it cutting your nose to spite your face. You don't want to cut yourself short. So there has to be a long-term strategy. They can't just right now go ahead and say, all right, this is it. So that's why I believe DoorDash would most likely address para and not dashers directly. You can't go after the dashers because at some point it may balloon out of control where you don't have dashers anymore. So how do you address the issue? Well, that's for them to decide. So are the risks of using para worth it? I'm going to go ahead and say, well, tip transparency has been the number one requested feature amongst dashers for the longest while. On Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, I guess maybe TikTok now, there's all videos, but Discords as well, your message boards, etc. Right? So everybody wants to see full pay. Whoever's a dasher, they're not going to shun away from seeing full pay. It's not I don't know who you are if you don't want to see full pay. If you like the surprise, that's your own thing, but most people are kind of going to lean to having clarity. All right. So I'm going to say two things about para that are maybe misconceptions. Para does not give you an advantage over another dasher. If me and my buddy was both dashing at the same time, same place, I'm not going to have an advantage over that dasher unless I'm a top dasher or something. But let's say we're both kind of like evenly split, the offer is going to still be cycled through. So what I'm going to say is that every offer that or delivery opportunity that a dasher gets, it's their opportunity for the taking. DoorDash cannot offer the same opportunity to multiple people. There's a conflict there. It's not a queue where you can go grab an order like with Instacart or a Ship, but you're being given an order or delivery opportunities assigned to you to say yes or no, or to accept it or decline it, right? So that doesn't give you an opportunity over another dasher. That actually means that you are actually competing with DoorDash directly. It's not between you and the other dasher. So if you're using para to have this insight, you're basically, your competition is DoorDash, because there is a game being played between DoorDash and a dasher, right? We know this. If the dasher accepts the order, it's theirs for the keeping. And like I said, if they decline it, the offer is moved over to another dasher as an opportunity for them to take. And now I'm going to go into the second misconception. Para does not increase order flow or order volume, and it doesn't change the customers. The customers will always be the same as long as they're using the service. If I'm a customer on DoorDash and I tip a certain way, I will continue to tip a certain way unless there's a life event, something like that. Like, hey, I run into some money, bam, I want to hook everybody up, bam, 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 hook you up, but if it's not, if let's say on a daily basis, if I'm using DoorDash, I'm going to pretty much consistently tip the same way. So if there's a habitual non-tipper, if they're not tipping at all, para doesn't automatically make them a tipper. So just understand that. It just gives you the insight. Again, showing you insight, right? And the other thing is that if you're dashing in midnight, let's say 4 o'clock in the morning, it's slow, right? That para is not going to automatically increase the amount of orders that are coming in. So just try to get that out of your head if you're thinking that way about para. It's not going to automatically give you an advantage of making money. It's just going to give you clarity. So those orders that you were receiving was always yours to take. It's not changing anything, but just giving you more clarity. It allows you to remove DoorDash from your psychology to circle back, right? Now, so in closing, when it comes down to meeting your goals, multi-apping is probably the best way to go about it. I like to call it uni-apping. And then when I'm hitting the street, when I'm actually got the DoorDash and the GH, Grubhub hooked up together and I'm going the same routes, that's that hustle right there that you can't, that's it right there. Because Grubhub shows you full pay, right? But there's other things with Grubhub that you don't see. But the true hustle is being able to maximize your time. So if it's slow, para is not going to give you more money. you need that volume, but at the same time, you need to be kind of, creative, and you got to be able to think out the box. So is Para really worth it? I'm going to say that yes, Para can give you an advantage. And I guess I just said that you want DoorDash out of your psychology because it's a game. You don't want to be played. You don't want to play the game. You just kind of want to have that clarity. If I accept an order that's $8 and it's going to be more, then you're hitting me in the head with when I see it change from 8 to 12 or from 8 to 20. You're messing with the psyche. So if I knew out the gate, well, I accepted a $20 order, I know, well, if I'm waiting at the restaurant and there's a delay by 30 minutes, because it could happen at a Cheesecake Factory, it could happen at a Buffalo Wild Wings, it could happen, and it does happen, right? That stress is alleviated because you already know you made your time is being spent. You know how much you're gonna get. If you're thinking about, you average about $20 or $24 an hour on these services, then you know you made your hour, right? Because you're good, because you don't have to stress out about that. But if you're thinking you're gonna get $8 for that whole hour, that's a lot of stress. That's you. That's the customer. The customer has to deal with you. Alleviate yourself from that stress. Clarity, like I said. So, Para, is it worth it? It's all about if you're willing to take that risk. Everyone's different. Everyone's situation is different. I could say yes for me, because I already am willing to deal with the consequences if it were to happen that I was going to be deactivated. I already have a strategy. If you don't have a strategy, it's not recommended. So know what you're doing. Understand that there is a cost to Para. When I said it was free earlier, it is free, financially free, but there is a cost if you are not careful. If you're looking to take a risk, it could be a cost. Let's say this is your only thing, your only app. It could prohibit you or slow you down. So let's say you're deactivated. Now you got to sign up for another service. And if you're not equipped, if you have to wait, that's money. So just kind of gauge your situation, know yourself, and know what you're willing to take as far as a risk. It's like an investment, Power is not an investment, but just take it as an investment. Your investment is DoorDash, so cash flow. You want to be consistently having that money come in. Yeah, it is my bread and butter, but at the same time, I already kind of took it upon myself to kind of say, all right, if it does happen, then I could kind of deal with the end result. On the other hand, what I could say is that Power is actually allowing me to take longer trips. Before, I was taking shorter trips because I just kind of want to be done. I want to get a good payout. It doesn't have to be a unicorn. I don't care about the unicorns all the time, right? Kind of ridiculous to get those unicorns all the time, because then you feed yourself into this, oh, I need to get a unicorn all the time. Then you change your strategy all of a sudden. And if you don't start seeing those, then you kind of setting yourself up for failure. You need balance. So I'm okay with a, $8 order. I could take as many $8 orders all the time. $3 orders, I'm staying away from them. $8 orders, $7 orders, $6 orders, maybe on a 6. 5 is already slap in the face. 4 slap in the face. 3 slap in the face. And plus, I got my own theory about the customers who are not tipping. But back to the before technology, just to kind of hit you in the head with this technology. Like DoorDash created the technology, Grubhub, kind of the first ones to do it, right? But if you think about the old pizzerias, like they're all dealing with cash. Pizzeria guy, he's driving the food from restaurant to the customer. He might expect the tip, but he don't know what the tip is. With technology, we kind of created this whole new thing where we kind of like see what's happening before. Which, for the traditional customers who, like, let's say older people. They've been around and they kind of like dealing with cash. So like you got to think about that scenario. So if you happen to ever take a a cash tip order, just make sure that you give that person a smile and you say, oh, easy drop off or something like that. So this way they could kind of recommend that customer back to you. If they recommend that customer back to you, then you know, well, this person like giving out cash, even better, right? But you want to have that. We're kind of set up in a system where we see the tip and we don't like not knowing at this point. We want to know. And they made it easy for people to do it that way. But like with Uber, if you're driving somebody, like taking a, ride share, hey man, this guy might be a jerk, might not smell properly, like I'm talking about the customer, like you might have a whole bunch of issues, or the customer might have a whole bunch of issues. So how are they gonna set up a tip? They didn't even get in the car yet. So that's their psychology. Like with Uber is different. So their whole app is based on like rideshare first, and then food delivery second, because that's actually how they set it up. And I think DoorDash kind of like piggyback off of Grubhub and Uber, but DoorDash is not a rideshare company. So that's where things kind of got a little lost for DoorDash, because like why even go that route? And I guess they see the benefits, and their benefit is just to play that game. Because if we don't know what we're gonna get, we're just gonna accept pretty much any offer that's being offered, right? So I'll leave you with that. Hopefully you have your own plan, have your own strategy, know what you're doing. If you want to use Para, again, you could use YouTube, search Para, check out Mr. Flex. He got a whole video on how to do it. He's the one who told me how to get the app. So check him out. If you like this video, go ahead and like. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. I'll definitely try to keep more consistency on these videos. And take care. Peace.